is the Angel Clark Show on Radio Freedom US.
If I wanted to sit around all day going nowhere, I'd be a teacher.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, is that what you want?
Yep. I didn't invent the economy.
You know, I think we're making some progress.
I'm sorry, are you addressing me? Because your authority is not recognized in Ford Kick-Ass.
The Angel Clark Show.
Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show on RadioFreedom.us. Freedom from the FCC. I have on the line with me Zach Mueller. He is a self-proclaimed anarchist comedian. Zach, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Now, first off, tell me, can you define anarchy to you? Because I know that there many people consider anarchy to be many different things.
Yeah, it's really funny. Actually, a lot of people are really surprised to find out that I'm an anarchist because 5 days out of the week I'm usually wearing a suit.
Are you implying that anarchists can't have business jobs?
Well, it's just funny that people's perceptions of what anarchy is really kind of skewed. I mean, literally, it just means no leaders, but people kind of interpret it to mean revolution, riots, violence, and that's really not the case. It's kind of funny. The history of anarchy has kind of warped itself so that anarchists really can't agree what anarchy exactly means either. There's kind of a large rift in the world of anarchists.
Yeah, well, I have a bit of experience with liberty-minded groups, and so I understand, the difference between, the voluntarists and things of that nature. So I think that's why defining your own version of anarchism is kind of important, because I know some groups, it means different things to them. So what does it mean to you? Just leaderless?
Well, in my mind, I kind of follow Murray Rothbard's moralistic views on non-government intervention. I really believe that government at all is just simply a vessel to impose power on others, basically. To me, in comparison to traditional anarchy, which is collectivism, socialism, basically, I'm more of a modern anarchist, I guess. People generally call them anarcho-capitalists, I guess. I recognize people's individual liberty to private property and charge whatever they want for whatever they're doing. I basically believe in individual liberty, leaving people alone. And I don't know. I guess my mother's a Reagan Republican and my father's a card-carrying libertarian.
Oh.
So,
well, that's. I guess that's how that mixes together, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess the young rebel in me just kind of rejects the idea that we really even need a government at all. And I fully embrace the idea of spontaneous order. I believe that, government is just a construct of people. It's something that we want. And if we want these laws, we'll have these laws. We don't necessarily need a formal government to enforce them. We can enforce these laws ourselves. We need to empower ourselves and not give up our power, our liberties, our freedom to other people to decide how to govern our lives. It's just, I don't know. It's the source of, in my mind, all social issues. I mean, we don't need...
There are many cases, I think, that you can point to where, especially in this day and age, the government seeks to benefit from dividing people further down the two main party spectrum line, because if everyone were to kind of unite and divide, or unite and conquer, so to speak, they would realize just how laughable it is to pay these people these massive incomes to do things that they can do themselves.
Oh, that's exactly the issue. I mean, in this country we have almost 500 million people, and we only have 2 political parties to represent them. That's, the hopes, wills, wants, dreams, desires, and aspirations of all these people. It's absolutely insane. I mean, that was pretty much the issue in the Civil War there, just difference of issues. And if we had just decided to split, these issues could have worked themselves out. But it's people try to turn to the government or someone else to solve these problems so quickly. Someone else says, hey, I can solve your problems. And it's really not the case. People, I don't know, it's a case-to-case issue.
Okay, now, for instance, you've got one parent who's a Reagan Republican, one parent who's a Libertarian. How did you decide that anarchy was the way to go for you?
Well, I had kind of always rejected the idea of needing a government, and finally, I don't know. It's funny that you mentioned the teacher. I'm kind of actually going to school to be a teacher myself. I am studying history, and I basically, I guess, wanted to learn the lesson of history, and that is that governments fail. People don't really. A lot of the issues that people have with anarchy is that there's no enforcement of law. People have issues of justice. How are we going to solve injustice? And that's the thing that people, I guess, don't really understand is that there's injustice in the world already. Government doesn't prevent crime. It might deter some crime, maybe, but it doesn't stop someone from getting killed in an alley, someone robbing them. It can maybe enforce punishment on someone for breaking these laws, but it's more of an issue of what kind of problems does the government cause.
Yeah.
And it's like you said before, I mean, it's these issues of indifference between everybody. In my mind, we could have millions of competing, diverse communities, networks of support that exchange, through whatever means, non-fiat currency, something that's actually worth something.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Distorted.
That would be really nice. Now, Zach, someone in the chat asks a question. Do you believe that the Occupy movement must become violent for effective change to occur?
No, and that's the thing that I have with a lot of other anarchists is that violence, in my mind, is not the issue, or not the issue, not a solution. It's just more oppression. If people aren't ready to accept, basically, it's autarky, self-rule, self-government. If people aren't ready to embrace self-responsibility, then we don't need to impose it on anybody. That's just, the same old story. And it's going to lead to the same issues of government rising and falling again. And it's in my mind, not something that can happen except through complete, social collapse, global social collapse. And sadly, it looks like we're heading that way anyway, but the thing that people don't really understand is that we already live in anarchy. I mean, government is
wait. How do we already live in anarchy?
The government is something that's not, in complete control of everyone's actions to any degree. The government might be able to take a certain percentage of my paycheck, but beyond that, I live my own life to my own, my own ways. The government's just something that we've collectively decided.
Yes, but you see, you live your own life, but you have to follow certain guidelines, suggestions you may call them, or be caged.
Well, now, there are certain things that, all right, now, in terms of, like, the Occupy movement, like you were talking about earlier, it is kind of ridiculous, the situation that, you have to go apply for a permit, pay for a permit to go protest. This is America. That's what this country's about. And, sorry. And, it's just insane that we have to resort to rioting in the streets to getting our message across.
In Georgia, my question, in Georgia, are you allowed to smoke inside of a bar?
In certain cities, you are.
You see what I mean, though? You see what I'm getting at? You say that we live in anarchy, but here are laws that are set down by some aspects of society that we have to follow, and the business owners didn't get the chance to say, well, we want this or we want that. In my state, you can't smoke inside any public building in the entire state, and that was not, any building, for instance, restaurants or bars or things of that nature. And it was not the bar owners weren't asked and the patrons weren't asked. That decision was made by the elected officials. So if I want to go to a bar, I can't smoke inside of the bar. And
this is true.
That's not my choice. But, it's unfortunately guidelines that I have to follow, suggestions that I have to follow, not guidelines, to stay out of a cage. So I think that what happens is, although you can say that we live in anarchy every day, there are aspects of the law that we follow maybe without even realizing it. Do you stop at a stoplight? Because
this is true.
I mean, they've got that ingrained into you at this point.
Well, social order is not something that the government necessarily creates. Social orders, it doesn't even really maintain social order that well. Social order is something that spontaneously occurs through the needs of the market, basically, and that's where people throw around the word democracy. I like the idea of democracy, empowering individual people, but not for some sort of collective decision. We can get together and collectively decide on things, but to impose our will on other people is just asking for trouble. It's
I think I understand.
In Georgia, sorry, I was going to, you're talking about the smoking in the bars in Georgia. This is true, but at the same time, we're also trying to repeal these laws now on the purchase of alcohol on Sundays, which has been something that a lot of people in this state have had an issue with for a long time. And it's just funny how, the government itself has to meet the whims of the market. So I think in time, people will realize that we don't need something that's going to intervene in the market so much, and just let people live their own lives. And I don't think that we're anywhere close to ready for this sort of living, but it's funny how much nicer everyone is when everyone has a gun.
I know, right? It's funny how that works, and I use that argument all the time. But look, I've got a break coming up. Can you stick through the break, because I know I also told you that you would be able to do some of your comedy routine, and we haven't even gotten there yet, because
definitely.
It's not often that I get to talk to a self-proclaimed anarchist. There are so many people that have so many other titles that they call themselves. So it's almost like people shun the title of anarchy because they want to call themselves a different subgroup,
Libertarian. They're just afraid to embrace it.
Right. All right. The Angel Clark Show will return in just a moment. RadioFreedom.us.
The Angel Clark Show.
Congratulations for listening to another great Spreaker-powered show. You're clearly a big fan of podcasts, so why don't you nominate your favourite show for the European Podcast Award? The hunt has begun for Europe's best podcasts, so let us know which shows make you smile. Get over to European-podcast-award.eu and nominate your favourite podcast today. Sorry to interrupt your listening, and thanks to Spreaker.com for letting us in.
Do you want to support good people who disobey bad laws? The Civil Disobedience Evolution Fund was created to support brave men and women who are saying no to aggressive government. With your contribution, you can support civil disobedience and non-cooperation now while encouraging more in the future. As CD Evolution grows, we hope to provide activists with legal and public relations assistance, as well as delivering timely information on the growing civil disobedience movement. To play your part in the peaceful evolution, visit cdevolution.org. That's cdevolution.org.
Looking for professional-sounding voiceovers without having to break the bank for your podcast, radio station, or YouTube video clips? Well, then contact the specialist over at radiofreedom.us at 302-569-9992 or email them at radiofreedom.us@hotmail.com.
The Angel Clark Show.
An immorality as occurred here, and where you have children from 9 to 14 years of age being subjected to such obscenities, Certainly, immediate action is demanded, and we are demanding that action this day.
On Radio Freedom US.
We have to do something about this. This is real disgusting. I mean, is this progress, or are we decaying in a way?
It seemed like very many people were under the influence of drugs. A lot of people were getting busted.
It was a bad scene. Like I say, it was completely unwarranted.
A riot.
Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show on RadioFreedom.us. Freedom from the FCC. I have on the line with me Zach Mueller, who is an anarchist comedian. And I promised him that we would get to go into his comedy routine. But, you know, I'm a total flake. And, Zach, I completely forgot to ask you, how long do you want for the jokes? Because we can have more questions as well. I've got, like, 16 minutes in this segment. So we can have an actual discussion, or we can do, it depends on how long your jokes run for.
Well, I guess that's the thing is, I guess I could just tell you about the jokes and why I do comedy, really. To me, like, the world is just in such a insane situation that all you can do is laugh at it. I mean, otherwise you're just going to go crazy. And I guess that's my my resort to nonviolence. And
I mean, there's definitely something to that, I think. You know, there's that whole statement, you know, you have to laugh, otherwise you would cry. And that's kind of, I think, where many people are at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this country is just in such a sad situation, and it's like the video that you posted on your website. That's a real situation. I really had the teacher. We had a situation where he was wanting us to, this was a college class, a government class, and he wanted us to amend the Constitution. And I had suggested, you know, I wanted to throw the whole thing out, but I had suggested, you know, maybe some kind of, like, minimum competency test for voting, which was just some bullshit answer to throw out. And he goes on about how this is this country is a democracy, and everybody deserves the right to vote. And it's kind of funny. I told him, no, this is actually a representative republic. But what I really wanted to tell him was, you know, maybe we should make that one of the questions on that test. But I actually wanted to pass the class.
Yeah.
Previously, I had a teacher telling me that the Constitution was an invalid piece of paper. You know, this is a history teacher, U.S. history teacher, telling me that in modern day, the Constitution is void. It's just not, doesn't mean anything.
Did this teacher mean that as it being a flawed document, or mean that as in, you know, we can find ways around it?
Oh, no, he just meant that nowadays it's no longer relative. I'm really not sure what he meant by that exactly. I told him his diploma was an irrelevant, void piece of paper. But I actually failed that class. But it's I really don't understand why, miseducation in this country, it's, you know, you kind of feel like you're living in 1984.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Basically. I mean, I can definitely see that. There are many cases where I think teachers also, where they forget, and I guess it depends on the class and the teacher. Now, I've pushed it to limits as well with that concept. Like, I had one teacher when I was in, I think it was middle school, who said, well, I want you to write a paper about the teacher that you dislike the most, and, you know, point out why you dislike this teacher. So I wrote a grammatically perfect paper about why I disliked the teacher that requested that assignment. So I handed him like 4 pages on why I thought he was the worst teacher I had ever had. And it was all grammatically perfect, so he had to give me an A. Of course, Of course, when you're talking, I think college classes as well, that's a little bit different. They're more subjective. But when you have the public school teachers, I think that they're just so terrified of a lawsuit.
Oh, I was a little bit terrified when he said that about democracy. This is a 3,000 level government course. I wanted my money back.
Right. Well,
it's just insane. I mean, the situation in this country with people and voting, people don't understand how things work. It's absolutely absurd. People don't understand voting. People don't understand money, first of all, and that's the real root of the issue.
Yeah.
But people don't understand voting. It's so ridiculous. I'll be talking to people about, non-government. I try not to use the word anarchy too much because it scares people, but I'll be talking to people about, ways around government. And they'll tell me stuff like, if you don't, ask me if I voted, if you don't vote, you can't really say anything. And it's absolutely insane because if I was going to vote, when I did vote, I voted for myself and I never really won. But,
But no,
and
you know what?
I've seen. That's the only way you can really say anything in this country.
Actually, no, that's a false statement. That's a false statement. The statement, if you don't vote, don't complain. Because guess what? In many cases, statistically speaking, your vote doesn't have a voice. I don't know if you ever listened to Stefan Molyneux, but he's got an excellent point. Statistically speaking, on the national level, in many cases, your vote doesn't count. Now, one way that you can change things, if it's not if you don't vote, don't complain. It's if you're not running for office, don't complain. If you run for office, that's when you can make some kind of difference. But not everyone wants to govern other people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious how if they had a mark on the ballot that said conscientious objector, I'm wondering how many people would show up. There's so many people that in this country that don't vote. There are more that don't vote than vote for either party.
Yeah.
And politics in this country and voting are so ridiculous that the number of people that are on MySpace, I think that there's a good little cult of personality around Tom. If we could get everyone on MySpace to vote for Tom, we could really screw some things up in this country.
Oh yeah, but you know that Tom moved over to Google Plus.
Oh no! Well, they've got the money.
I know, right? But no, that's a very good point, and it's something where I would be interested to see, for instance, if you just had, the people that watch reality television, you know what I mean? If all of them voted for one reality TV star, the same one for president, you would end up with probably that reality TV star as president, or, football star or baseball star or whatever. That person's got more notoriety than any politician.
Yeah, it's funny how, celebrities are getting into politics nowadays.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
it's crazy.
They've got nothing better to do. I mean, Michael Moore sitting here telling people that he doesn't really have, he's not really one of the 1%. Look, I don't care if you're one of the 1% or the 99%. It doesn't matter to me. We're all human beings. But if you are, be honest about it. Don't lie. Sorry. That's
man.
a random tangent. That's my own issue.
Oh man.
But.
And that's actually, I'm trying to set up a open mic political comedy show down here in Atlanta. And because I'm trying to just encourage self-expression through comedy. I want people to be able to laugh at themselves, laugh at each other, laugh at ideas, express themselves through laughter. It's such a
well, feel
such
free
a
to
healthier
use
way than
feel
each
free
other.
to use any clips from my show, because I'll be honest, I laugh at myself all the time. There's a lot of awkward moments on here. A lot of them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And and that's the other thing is, I mean, I really appreciate everyone's point of view on things. There are things about the world that I don't understand, but I do understand one thing, and that's that I want to be left alone. And I know that there are a lot of people that feel the same way and just don't understand that we can live a peaceful life without government. People need to get off the idea that government provides social order, because that is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. I do think that people have gotten to the point where they think government provides them with things. I saw a clip where the president said, if we don't pass my jobs plan, then people will have to become self-reliant. And it was right?
God
really?
forbid.
That's a bad thing?
Oh, my God.
Like, you
That's the funny
government
thing.
has grown too big when that's a threat.
I mean, the idea of freedom in this country is so warped. It's ridiculous. I mean, we were founded on freedom, and we try to maintain that faith this whole time. But I mean, we really don't understand why we even came together. We were 13 completely separate colonies. We were so vastly different. It's not even funny. And we only came together because we just fought off like the largest empire on the planet, and we had just bought 6 million lira from the second most powerful nation on the planet. So we kind of had to do something to send them off. But you know, people just don't understand what real freedom and individual liberty is, and they don't understand the responsibility that comes with it. They're afraid of the responsibility, so they give up their freedom to other people to govern their own lives. And it's so sad. You can't do anything but laugh at it.
Yeah, and I think that's something else that needs to be addressed, is just how much freedom is given away by people. For instance, I think you can point to it in many aspects of life, but like the TSA is a huge example of that. The Department of Homeland Security, they you know, people say that they feel safer when they get on a plane because they've had their items gone through, and they've been groped, and they've been scanned, and they've been prodded, and they've been treated like cattle. And you know, let's be honest, how many, you know, quote unquote terrorists have the TSA caught?
Well, how far does it go? You know, we already had metal detectors and X-ray scanners to take. You know, it's just, how far do you go for security? And people just need to understand that we'll look out for each other. People really seem to doubt each other. Government creates this kind of disconnect between people, and we feel like we can't depend on each other. And we'd probably really be surprised how quickly. I hate to talk about 9/11, but it really just surprises me how. I mean, I do love the story of the plane that went down. People getting together and deciding to do something about this. People not just standing back and saying, "I can't do something."
Yeah.
People getting up and doing something and realizing that other people will do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we've only got about 5 minutes left in the segment. Is that enough time for you to do your routine?
Oh, well, I mean, like I said, most of my jokes are kind of conversational stuff between a friend of mine and I. And there's not too much to go through other than... And that's the other thing, is most of my audience is not political, so it's kind of coming at people from I'm kind of naive about what's going on standpoint.
You're used to shocking people. You're used to shocking people with different aspects of government.
Well, I mean, some of the stuff is like a joke about waterboarding. You know, how if we can just accept these ideas of torture, you know, all we're doing is just putting a towel over his face and running water over it, simulating drowning for a couple hours. That's not that bad. You know? And pretty soon people start to get desensitized to these ideas, and they'll start to think things like, I can do that to my kids. It's scary how people become used to things like that.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much what is going on now. People don't feel like they can do anything individually, so they've just got to become used to the police state that's building up around us, and it's terrifying.
Now, there's a comment in the chat. It says that maybe too much credit is being given to the average citizen. Most people are not very well informed or well read, and very selfish in their own desires. Do you have any response to that?
Yes, that is an issue of state dependence, I'll tell you that. If you didn't have Big Brother standing over your shoulder, ready to defend you and invoke justice and punishment on those that wronged you, you'd probably be a little, more, oh, man. People would understand the value of helping out your neighbors and looking out for yourself, but at the same time, not behaving in a way that's going to, you want to help out your neighbors, because later on in life, you might be in need of help yourself. And those sort of little values in life, people value family, the value of lending a hand when you need to, will be learned when that overhead is taken off. When that is one of the funniest things to me, is that people don't understand how much government changes our mindset about things. You know, like I said, it really does separate us, detach us from everyone else. It kind of makes us think that, oh, so that's someone else's problem. I watched this video recently. I did not know how to respond to it or how to react to it. Like, I wanted to cry, but I had to watch it several times to convince myself that it was fake. It was a 2-year-old child that wandered into the street in China, I think, and a car hit it. And it's just several people passing by.
No.
And I could not believe. I did not understand it. Like I said, I had to convince myself that it was fake. But,
and you know what? I bet that video has less views than the dog pulling the dog that was hit by a car out of the highway.
Well, it was actually, in comparison to those videos, were actually one and the same in the video that I saw. They're saying, who has more compassion, animals or humans? And that's really how it is in some places. The value of life is so, I mean, and it scared me that people weren't even calling the police, it looked like. You can't really see much because it's like a surveillance camera. But people just think that's someone else's problem. They don't realize a child dying right there in your street is your problem. That could be your child. You know, they just leave it up to the government. Oh, it's not my street. You know, somebody else probably called the police. I don't need to get involved. And that child died. I did not know how to, like I said, I didn't know how to react to that one.
Yeah. Now, we've reached pretty much the end of the segment. Do you want to tell people where they can find you if they want to see some of your clips and things of that nature?
Definitely. Go to facebook.com/governyourself.
Awesome.
And,
awesome. All right. Well, great. Zach, thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, and best of luck to you in doing the political comedy show, because I think it's going to be difficult, but if you pull it off right, I think that it should be really fantastic. The Angel Clark Show will return. RadioFreedom.us.
The Angel Clark Show.
You know I'll always be blogging about you, Paul, I love
you. Congratulations for listening to another great Spreaker-powered show. You're clearly a big fan of podcasts, so why don't you nominate your favourite show for the European Podcast Award? The hunt has begun for Europe's best podcasts, so let us know which shows make you smile. Get over to European-podcast-award.eu and nominate your favourite podcast today. Sorry to interrupt your listening, and thanks to Spreaker.com for letting us in.
Dougie.
What?
Have you seen how easy GoDaddy.com is?
Huh?
Yeah, I just bought you for $1.99.
Did not.
Yeah, I did.
Dog nabbit.
Whoops, just did your dog.
Mr. Winky? My wife loves Mr. Winky.
Ah, now I'm gonna do your wife.
Your mother.
You know I'm gonna do your mother now.
Too late. I already did my mother.
Pervert. Don't waste a moment. Get your domain today at godaddy.radiofreedom.us.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Why just watch SpongeBob when you can play SpongeBob?
This is gonna be the coolest party ever!
Official SpongeBob games brought to you by Yahoo and the Angel Clark Show.
I'm ready!
Family fun, just check out spongebob.radiofreedom.us.
Okay, this week, Groupon members are going to save 50 to 90% on great daily deals all over town. They're going to discover new restaurants, spas, museums, famous people, helicopter rides, juggling classes, a different kind of juggling classes, concerts, yoga studios, theater, golf, lessons, more lessons, movie tickets, and a whole lot more. If your week doesn't sound quite that exciting, maybe you want to sign up for ours.
Groupon.radiofreedom.us.
Chicken, we just want to make chicken.
The machines want to make chicken. It's their hidden passion.
We are robots trained to kill, but let us make chicken and we'll promise we'll chill. We just want to make chicken.
They just want to make chicken.
Let us break chain, put it in the buns, and we promise not to vaporize your little ones.
Apparently, the machines really want to make chicken, but at Hardee's, we don't let them. Introducing the hand-breaded chicken filet sandwich, because things made by hand are better, and that's just the way it is. Only at Hardee's.
For a limited time at participating restaurants.
Game night again. Stop for a slice of pizza. Now you can't remember whose controller is whose. Don't let this happen to you. Intimidate your friends and your competitors with an evil controller. Official Microsoft Xbox 360 and Sony PlayStation 3 controllers, customized with your color and your style. Need that extra edge on Modern Warfare? Get a controller with a custom fast reload button, along with 6 rapid-fire buttons completely undetectable online. evilcontrollers.radiofreedom.us.
Rush Card. It's a prepaid Visa card. There's no credit check. Everyone is eligible to sign up. You don't even need a bank account. Choose your style, and we'll rush your card to you. Some fees and restrictions may apply. Because it's a prepaid Visa card, you can only spend what you deposit, so you won't go into debt. You can even direct deposit your paycheck onto your Rush Card. Need another reason? Enter first friend when you sign up, and we'll put $5 on your card as soon as you activate it.
Get your Rush Card today at rushcard.radiofreedom.us.
Be a part of Angel's Army. The Angel Clock Show.
Radio Freedom
US.
Coming to you live from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
This is the Angel Clark Show.
Welcome back to the Angel Clark Show on RadioFreedom.us. Freedom from the FCC. All right, look, I have this piece in front of me. I'm going to close out of the Herman Cain pop-up that just hit me in the face on the Washington Times. Listen here. Feds are concerned. Feds are concerned about hackers opening prison doors. Federal authorities are concerned about new research showing U.S. prisons are vulnerable to computer hackers who could remotely open cell doors to aid jailbreaks. Really? Really? You gonna just softball it in like that? I mean, there's a chance that computer hackers hadn't thought about opening your jail cell doors to aid in jailbreaks. Guess what you just did? Federal authorities just gave hackers around the world the idea to open prison doors. Like, did they think they weren't going to find it? This story?
It was a smooth move.
It was a smooth move, random voice. But look, I mean, just think about this concept, all right? If you don't want to get hacked, don't send out a tweet saying that your password isn't hackable. If you don't want to get hacked, don't send out a news article saying that there's a chance you could get hacked. So, let's face it. Now, because this was published today, so far only 219 people have liked it on Facebook. It hasn't been Google Plussed at all. I can't see how many shares, but it's had at least 90 comments and 20 reactions. Well, now, every hacker that I know is probably out there trying to hack their way into the prison system. Because let's face it, there's always been something else to do, right? But this is like asking for it. This is asking for it. And look, the CIA is probably going to come after me because I've got another piece as well that says that they are monitoring Twitter and Facebook now. And we already knew that they were, right? But, oh, I forgot. I almost forgot. Here is the Washington Times piece. Look out for the Cain pop-up ad that I got. There you go. And here is the piece from Yahoo News regarding the CIA. And look, we already knew that they were monitoring us. I mean, I've sent out tweets specifically directed to the Federal Reserve for when they're finally monitoring it. Like, hey guys, I hate you. Go ahead and pay attention to my account right here, because I think you're all idiots. I think you're all stupid, and I think you're all destroying our country, and I think that you're destroying the economy in the entire world, and I blame it all on you. Yeah, that's me right here. So the CIA is monitoring all these tweets. They're monitoring these Facebook accounts as well. Newspapers, TV news channels, local radio stations, internet chat rooms, anything overseas that anyone can access and contribute to openly. Oh, look, they call it the Open Source Center. It's like open source radio. I have a friend who works at my FM station, and his name is Don Carpenter, and he does open source radio. And sorry, it just reminded me of that. But it's, all right, look, it's not funny, but to me, it is one of those situations where you kind of have to laugh, because it's like, really, guys? Really? They're looking for people that have master's degrees in library science. That's a help. Yeah. But you see, also, by the way, you know what else they're doing? Sites like Facebook and Twitter have also become a key resource for following a fast-moving crisis, such as the riots that raged across Bangkok in April and May of last year. Within an hour, it was all surging out on Twitter and Facebook. The CIA homed into 12 to 15 users who tweeted situation reports and cell phone photos of demonstrations. The CIA staff cross-referenced the tweeters with the, I like that, the tweeters. Yeah, the tweeters. With the limited news reports to figure out who among them was providing reliable information. Tweeters also policed themselves, pointing out when someone had filed an inaccurate report. So, the CIA is actually relying on Twitter to get news out. You see? Those of you out there who aren't on Twitter, there's a reason. You know what I've said in the past? I've said in the past, I see a story on Twitter. 8 hours later, I see it on Facebook. The next day, I hear about it on the radio. 3 days later, I see it on a major news source. 10 days later, I get it in an email. That, to me, is normally the timeline for breaking stories. Like, no one really emails you a breaking story. I do have people that email me blog posts of the same person. And I'll be honest with you, I don't read those blog posts. And I get like 8 different people that email me these blog posts by the same person. And I'm like, come on! Stop it. If I wanted to follow the blog, I would RSS it. Thank you. But so I have people that email the blogs, and those normally come out within literally 3 hours of the stupid thing getting posted. But other than that, the stories that I get in the email are normally a little bit older. They're normally a little bit older. Now, I do have one person who sends me some pretty good stuff via the email. Does a lot of researching and digs up things that I probably wouldn't have found on my own. But there are, and for those kind of stories, it's not really about when it was done. It's about that it was done. But so look, I've gone off on this tangent now. I'm just saying Twitter is the fastest in my opinion. And you know what? I should throw Google Plus into the mix. I don't know. You know what I do know? I'm going to let you in on this little secret. I post pictures to the Angel Clark Show fan page on Facebook. I posted one today, and look, I'm going to be honest with you. I posted 2 today. The one that I posted just before I came on the air, I actually wrote that statement myself, and I uploaded it to pundit kitchen because I saw all these people with this image of Herman Cain shaking Ron Paul's hand, and Herman Cain was like giving Ron Paul the stare down, and Ron Paul was looking away. And it was right after the most recent debate, which has been a few weeks now, and everyone, all these Cain supporters were passing around this picture, and it said, "Why won't Ron Paul look Herman Cain in the eyes?" Right? And they're like implying that he's scared. So I figured enough time had gone by. And so I took that picture and I added underneath, what exactly was it that I said? Look, I know what it was that I said. There we go. There's my picture. Oh. It says, and look, I did it in the little box, right? It says, Ron Paul, too polite to laugh in your face even when you're trying to look scary. And now look, I didn't think that I was being that mean, but let's face it, you know, Herman Cain, you can tell by looking at his hand, he's doing that, like, that squeeze your hand grip, right? And he's got this look on his face because you can see half of his face, and you can tell he's giving him... Herman Cain is giving Ron Paul that look that my dad gave me when I did something wrong. That look that's like, you know what? We're in public right now, but just you wait. Just you wait. You're done. You're grounded for like 8 months, and you don't even know it yet, but you can tell by this look on my face. And so, and it looks like Ron Paul is just trying so hard not to laugh. So I posted that picture. But other than that, most of the pictures that I get, I steal them from Google Plus. Most of them I really do. I get them from Google Plus. So I think Google Plus may be a little bit before Facebook, but after Twitter. But I also think that Google Plus isn't geared as much for getting news in a flash or in a hurry, like finding specific topics. Now, I will say that there are an awful lot of artists that I've found that share their own images on Google+. There are some fantastic images, photographers that post their stuff on Google+. But look, it's been like 10 minutes, and somehow I went from hackers breaking into jail cells to the CIA to Google+. Look, the fact is, in Miami, the Washington Times, they basically just said, hey, guys, we're here and we're waiting. I mean, look, you could open every cell door and the system would be telling the control room they are all closed. They're telling people what they want them to do. This is like an open invitation. I mean, really, this is an open invitation. All right, guys. Look, you did it to yourself, okay? You did it to yourself. I'm sorry. Now, let's see what I have left in front of me for the next 4 minutes. Some interesting backup plan stories. More on the Eurozone. Oh, no. Sunday's show, I have Ken Shorgen coming on the show, the economist. We're going to talk about the issues going on over in Greece. We're going to talk about the Eurozone. I think he also wants to talk about, well, just everything economic for the past 2 weeks, which has been quite a bit, so it's going to be a very filled hour. Also, Saturday on the show, tomorrow night, I have coming on a facilitator for Occupy Delaware. And he's actually going to come on in between the occupation. Upstate, they have a General Assembly from 3 to 5, and he's coming on at 6. So we're going to talk about how that went. And I think as well that I don't know. I think it will be interesting to get some information from him regarding the situations there, the things that are occurring, and whether or not they feel that they are taking advantage of the system with their permits and whatnot. So you will be able to hear those shows on 92.7 WGMD, the talk of Delmarva. You can listen live from WGMD.com Saturday night, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday night, 5 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's what's scheduled for this weekend. We'll get into all of that jazz. Also, Rasmussen report says 23% of people have already started holiday shopping, which I thought was kind of interesting. And it's not that I thought that part of it was interesting. What I thought is that, look, does anyone else do their holiday shopping all year? Maybe it's just me. Big family aspect of it. I do the shopping all year. So, anyway, look, I'm going off on tangents. I didn't get to the FCC. I still had that in front of me. I have a story about vendetta masks in Greece, G20. Not enough time. Not enough time. I tell you what, I will share this tale with you in the chat room, and you can read it if you would like to. And it's just a little bit of information about the Guy Fawkes masks and, you know, the modernization of them to the point where they're being used now. And by the way, I don't think that they represent the face of the Occupy movement. I know that a lot of Occupy protesters have been wearing the Guy Fawkes masks, but I don't think that means it truly is the symbol of the protest because, all right, look, I actually do know some people that are Tea Party members as well that own those masks. So I think it's more of an anti-government sentiment. The Angel Clark Show, well, we'll return Monday. But remember, this weekend, WGMD.com. And if you go to Pumpkin Chumpkin, please remember, drink responsibly. You won't see me there because I don't go to events that are named after fruit or vegetables. Have a nice night. And remember, no army can stop an idea whose time has come.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's politics in space.
The Angel Clark Show.
I'm not gonna be polite anymore, cause everybody's got bad manners. I'm not gonna make any plans anymore, cause the works are full of spanners. I'm not gonna meditate anymore, the revolution is off the agenda. I'm a baby boomer's daughter, and I'm never gonna reach nirvana. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Are you alright?
Pretty much.
Are you okay?
Pretty much.
You got your health?
Pretty much.
You know the way.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, alright, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.